Good evening, everyone, and good afternoon, good morning. Like I said, I'm here live from Vancouver, British Columbia, with the help of Max Harvey, who's our running the show behind the scenes here. So thanks, Max. He'll be in a little bit later. I hope you're doing well where you are. You'll notice as we go through this event, at the bottom of your screen, or however you've got it laid out, there'll be a Q&A box. That's for any questions you might have throughout the event. We'll be getting to those questions and answers later. But there's also a chat here too. So if you are comfortable letting us know where you're from, let us know where in the world you're watching and tuning in to join in this this fantastic talk. I see more and more people joining. This is great. Nice to see everyone. And I know also we have some friends joining us over Weibo. So welcome to everyone joining us from Weibo. We've got all kinds of people and all kinds of new technology that we can use here. We got people from Uruguay and from Colombia. Hello, Sebastian and Daniel. Nice to see you. We've got support here from Jerry Zhang, who's from in Shanghai. We've got Max, who's in Vancouver. We've got Marilyn, who's in Beijing. And of course, I'm super excited to introduce you to Kahing Chan, who's joining us from Hong Kong.
Hello.
Early in the morning there in Hong Kong. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Colin.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you. And hello to all the people from 微博的朋友，你们好。我是从香港跟加拿大的 VFX 的朋友 Colin Hughes 在那边做这一次的直播。大家好。I had a little introduction to the people from China. Yeah.
Perfect. Lovely. Yes, good to see everyone from everywhere around the world. Nice to have you here. Thank you so much. My name is Colin Giles, and I'm the head of the School of Animation and Visual Effects at Vancouver Film School, and super proud and honored to welcome Kahing Chan to our industry talks. This is the first one of 2021, so thank you for being here. I know it's a completely different time zone for you. It's already Thursday where you are, but we are super excited to have you here. And we also wanted to point out that Kahing is one of our most esteemed alumni, having graduated from Vancouver Film School many, many years ago, back in 1994. So most of our students weren't even born then, as I'm realizing, because I'm around the same age. So welcome to everyone. Welcome to our Vancouver Film School students as well, and alumni and special guests and everyone from around the world. We're going to have a great time tonight. So we've got about an hour this evening. We can probably go a little longer if we need to. Like I said, we're going to be talking with Kahing here. Got a few questions to ask. He's got a few slides to show and some video presentation as well. So we're kind of adding to the industry talk like we've never had before. So 2021 is bringing all kinds of good stuff. And as you go through this, maybe you'll have some questions for Kahing about the industry, about his career, maybe want to clarify things or get his opinion on something. Feel free to put that in the Q&A box, which should be right down the middle, right next to the chat box. There's a little button that says Q&A. Those are for your questions. Definitely feel free to add those as the evening goes on here. It would be great to get to them after we have a nice little chat here. So enough from me. We are so honored to have you here, Kahing, as, like I said, a long-time alumni. You go way, way back to when Vancouver Film School had a major in computer animation, but it was actually sponsored through DigiPen before it was like the Vancouver Film School we know. And I believe it was class 4 or something, we counted that. And now we have class 150. So a long time has passed. The industry has changed so much. And I know your career has brought you all across the world. And, you know, having started in Ontario, in Toronto, Canada, at the Ontario College of Art, majoring in drawing, painting, and maybe just to introduce a little bit of Kahing here before, you know, so I can embarrass him a little bit. But Kahing is an award-winning artist, an award-winning animator and visual effects artist. He's also an accomplished illustrator, drawer, and painter, a traditional artist. Having, of course, graduated from Ontario College of Art, and has also gone on to now found and co-found More Visual Effects, which is one of the leading visual effects companies in Asia, not just let alone China, and is also now added to their expanding umbrella More EDU, More Education, and is the CEO of that. And we're excited to talk about where you're at now. But I think a lot of the local Vancouver Film School students are going to be excited to learn about, and all of our other friends joining us on Weibo. And we have, by the way, we have 172 people on Weibo right now, and another like 60 people here. So this is one of our biggest audiences we've had for one of these talks. So that being said, that's enough for me for now. I would like to start with Kahing here, who maybe you could talk a little bit about that journey from your traditional art into finding Vancouver Film School.
Mm-hmm. So Grandpa is going to talk now. Okay, that was a long time ago, 29 years ago. I graduated from Ontario College of Art, fine art painting department. So I was a traditional painter, and by that time, computer animation wasn't popular at all. You don't even always see that on TV or on theater. And for me, myself, as a traditional painter, I use paint and brush. I use my hand to go direct, follow my thought, and go direct onto the canvas. So, and I never even touch a computer at all by that time. So the reason why I get into the field, because everything has to start with a painting. My graduation painting I did. So I'm gonna share the screen to show you guys. Okay, do you see the painting now? Yeah. Okay. So this is the painting I did. It is a huge painting, 5 feet by 5 feet, and it's still hanging on my wall. And I did it in 1992. And in this painting, I was trying to have a visual hallucination on a 2D platform by using color vibration and organic forms. The red and green colors, when they are put together, it creates a vibration on your eyes. And I was trying to get that moving image, but of course on a 2D platform, it couldn't satisfy myself. So after my graduation, I was still hanging with that intention in my brain. And then I was wandering in LA and Vancouver in the West Coast. And then one day I dropped by Vancouver and reading a newspaper, and then I found a news on promoting there was a 3D animation class at Vancouver Film School. So, and which was a 1 year class. I think it's still 1 year, right? It's a 1 year intensive class. So
That's
it was
right. Hasn't
for
changed.
me, for a person who already graduated from university, which I spent 4 years. I couldn't spend another 4 years on college to study computer animation. So it's an intensive course, although I took it. And the reason, because computer animation, after my graduation, I was seeing a lot of things by traveling. And when I was LA, I watched TV a lot, and then computer animation was very popular on the commercial in US. So I found that there was a very interesting thing. It's like, I mean, it's different from the traditional animation, but it's done by computer, and it has very beautiful texture, and it's amazing. So, and especially the major point that stunned me, because is I watched the movie called The Lawnmower Man. In this movie, there were like organic form of images, human forms are merging together, and beautiful vibrating colors on the screen. So it makes me to realize that, hey, there's something that might satisfy my artistic intention in that painting. So I took that course in Vancouver Film School. So come back. Okay, and then and then at the film school, Vancouver Film School, it was very difficult. It's actually very difficult for me as a traditional painter to get my hand on computer and doing something not directly. So it took me a hard time especially at the beginning of the course, I was learning DOS command because we were using PC, and then 3D Studio is the software. So I was learning DOS command for the first month, and then it's something that I couldn't understand at all. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then and it takes me quite a hard time to get over it. But I remember that every time when I got really frustrated and really down and feel like asking myself, am I choosing the correct direction to learn? Because it's so hard for me to learn computer, to learn that kind of technical languages. Every time when I have the very down feeling, I go out to the big room where everybody is sitting there or in front of the computers. Oh, by that time, computers was sharing during early mornings, half-day mornings, and half-day afternoon for 2 persons. So there are always people sitting on the sharing computers and working on their personal project. So every time I see these people, I told myself that I'm gonna be one of those in 4 to 5 months. I'll be sitting outside the big room, in the big room, and doing my personal projects. So it's encouraging myself, and so I keep on going that, and then once I get over the DOS command lessons, I feel better when I get into the software. So I had a real good time playing with the software. When you just imagine computer animation wasn't something you see it every day by that time. So it's something that so I don't know what to say. It was stunning to me. I mean, it was amazing. I couldn't stop playing with the texture part, and then playing the highlights and metallic feeling and all the kind of things. So so it was after a while, and then I really get into my personal project, and I want to show my personal project at the first time in public.
Oh, this is amazing. Here we go. This is a blast from the past. What is it, 29 years old now?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, hang on. Let me.
Just for context for those younger people in the audience, like this was around the time that Toy Story was coming out. So this is like way back, reboot years and those types of things. There was not much computer animation on TV at all. Maybe a few commercials.
Okay, let me start it first. Yeah, that's only like 30 seconds. Everyone was allowed to play a 30 seconds video.
That's right. Yeah, which was a big deal back then. So that was about what, 4 or 5 months worth of work there?
I think it was less than that. I think the last 3 months was time for you to do the personal project.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's amazing about what you did there, especially at that time, considering a lot of computer animation was using hard body elements like toys and cars, you were doing organic shapes throughout that. Maybe talk about the challenges of creating those organic shapes, which is obviously something you were inspired by in your early art career.
Yeah, because as I was just said, organic form was something that I chasing after, because I was doing organic forms on my painting. So it was my it's come from my foundation, very foundation thought to make things out of that. And this software, I mean 3D Studio, the grandfather software version, I think it was version 2 or 3, very early one. So that software has a lot of limitation, as you know. By that time, it was really, it's actually not as you said, not too many people would think of doing organic forms. So it
Mhm.
was really hard on 3D software. I mean, 3D Studio to achieve the organic style. So it took me a while, but it was my intention. So I would work hard to explore the possibilities to doing that. I don't remember I don't remember the technical way I did it. It was by sections. So I have to animate it into section part of sections. So technically, I don't quite remember. But as a lot of other students was doing hard forms, buildings, interior walkthrough, playing with the camera and stuff like that. Yeah, true. But because I did that because I had my artistic background. So
Mhm.
it was a good time for me to unleash myself, unleash my creative side through
Yeah.
the software. And I find it really amazing. Another thing is amazing about is making a computer animation is like making a film, but only by one person. One person can finish everything by themselves. I don't need a cameraman. I don't need a lighting guy. And all I need is myself to do the whole thing on the software. So by during that time, I was so happy to use computer animation as a tool. From then on, I never paint again. Which I'm really sorry about that. Gave up my brush and paint. Um, I'm trying to pick it up again now.
Yeah. I
So
know the
I,
feeling. I know the feeling.
I try to express myself through computer animation and other tools instead of paint and brush.
Right. And I think that's a key part of it, right? Is your approach to this. It seems like even now is the computer is just a tool for your artistic expression. It's not, you still have to control it. You still have to have the heart and mind of an artist to be able to approach this work rather than it just becoming a solid state type of thing where the computer's doing all the work for you. And that's an amazing thing. Like the computer, like you said, you could be all of the artists. You can be the cameraman, you can be the painter, the lighter, the set designer. You can do all of that, which is an amazing feat.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, that was a very early stage of way of thinking.
Yeah.
Because when it gets a long way back to after a few years of using computer animation, I um, start to test on other media.
Mm.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And
So
then
you went
sorry,
from some Vancouver to Hong Kong, then you moved back to Hong Kong to begin your professional career, correct?
right after I graduate, I went back to Hong Kong because the reason the reason I take that course for training because um, I couldn't find a job after my graduation as fine art student. Especially for fine art student,
Yeah.
nobody hire a painter. Uh, they hire a designer, but they don't hire a painter.
Yeah.
So I acquired the skill, the technical skill, and I have my fine art foundation as a background. So I feel confident, and then I go back to Hong Kong, and then right away I get into the field. I went to my first job. I worked for the government education TV.
Mhm.
So I started using computer animation. There were not much places, so only a few computer houses and commercials are not really adopting 3D animation yet because it was so expensive. So only the government television they use computer animation or for their educational TV. So
Mm.
I started my job as in the government television. Yeah, but and then after that, when I got back to Hong Kong, I get into more people, I know more people, and then one day, um, next I'm gonna tell you that I make another piece of computer animation that has changed, that makes to get a lot to change my way of career a lot. So I met someone, a friend of mine, who was a technical musician, techno musician. So he showed me a song, and then I found that song is amazing. So right away I have the images on my mind. So I think I was thinking, oh, I should do something for that song. So I make an MV for that song by computer animation. I quit my job. I stay at home for 3 months, day and night, and then I work on that with a 3D studio, and then created a MV, which I really have to show you here. It's 3 minutes long, so it takes a little bit time. Let me get it ready.
Now, this hasn't been seen for many years as well. That's correct, right?
Yeah, it was created in 1995, 26 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the time during, I think, the first Toy Story. Yeah. So this song is in Cantonese. There are some lyrics in Cantonese saying "Dai lo li想點." It means, "Hey man, what you want?"
There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
So maybe I start it. Okay, here. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Yep, this is it.
Wow, that's amazing visuals there, Kahing. Maybe you could talk about your inspiration about for how some of those visuals came into your mind. You said you had seen those images when you heard the song. What was your inspiration?
Well, my inspiration, I would say that was my sketchbook 29 years ago. I had a lot of drawings, and I was inspired a lot by Dali and other that fetish kind of fetish dress. Yeah. So I was using that images, and this is the way. Look, I have this section of body shape into sections, and then I animate that. I remember the plugin I use is called Skin.
Oh yeah.
So it create organic forms. But why the reason why there were no arms, right? You see the main character, because it's really hard to make the arms stick out, and it doesn't look good. So it becomes I decided to just forget about the arms, make it armless, and then it can go halfway body. And I was making two scope of half and half in half body part, and then put them together. So using that skin function, the plug in, and then yeah, I have my lot of. I have this. Let me see.
I love that you've got all the artwork there. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's always good to keep all your designs and artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after all these years, you look back, see, this is what I mean.
Oh yeah, wow.
So I have this half of the body and then put another half and stick it, become one person, but there are no arms.
Right.
But
Amazing.
somehow it works. It works. It works fine. This is my my drawing concept of the characters. Yeah, and this is the part. It got needles, vaccines, vaccines. Yeah, for the predicting the COVID now.
Yeah, you were 26 years ahead of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So after this video, I put it. I attend a lot of other all the award and animation competitions, and then I got some awards from all over the world, and chances to exhibit in film festival as well. Yeah. So it was 1995, and then after that, I get into other careers. Well, at the same time, during the same time, after I finished that animation, I found another job into the one of the biggest animation house during that time in Asia called Central Digital Pictures. So I started working as a creative director. From then on, because there's still a lot of things that I couldn't finish myself. Remember, I just said I could do everything by myself on the software. But after this animation, I realized that there was a big limitation. I have more thought. I have more creative thoughts that I couldn't finish it because I myself not a technical person. I'm not really passion on technical. So I try to express myself through what I've got. So the tools has limited. So then on, from then on, I realized that creativity is my major part. So I would rather do creative wise, and I give creative suggestion, and then other technical people can achieve what I thought,
Right.
which might be even more exciting. So I started my job as creative director in different companies. Yeah, and then I get into a music channel, which I'm really happy about that. It's called Channel V in Asia. It was really big. And then after Channel V, I went to Sony Picture in Japan. Sony Picture TV department. Yeah. I worked there for 1 year, and then get lots of input from Japanese creativities. And then I came back again to work at Channel V again, and then by some chance, I also work at the Cartoon Network. You know.
Yeah.
I know you were in Cartoon Network.
Yep. We have a shared resume there. Yep. Yeah. Cartoon Network. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, I was doing the TV part. I doing TV commercial and TV promos for the channels. Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah, by the time Powerpuff Girl was a hit one. Yeah.
I've drawn many Powerpuff Girls. Yeah.
I remember from your resume, you were doing what was that, train animation?
Oh yes. I worked on Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah.
Thomas. Yes.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah. Thomas. But yeah, I did a lot of Powerpuff Girls commercials and Johnny Bravo. Yeah. We were right around that same time actually. Yeah. That was good stuff. And of course I was a hand-drawn animator at the time. So it's interesting that halfway around the world we were kind of working for the same company, which is, very common nowadays.
Right. Oh, but you were a hand-draw animator. You wasn't using computer animation.
Not at the time. No. I was hand-drawn animator up until mid 2000s. So yeah, I was focusing on that.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
But amazing to think that we were working in two different places in the world with two different tools for the same company, and that, you know, companies like that are amazing, that are multifaceted, and like you said, all those specializations of skills and talent is really what makes it an exciting industry to work in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I noticed you also worked in MTV China. Is that correct? Like later on in 2005 through 2010, that would have been a big sort of creative sales and marketing stuff going into advertising, which is a big part of the animation industry that I think a lot of people overlook. They think about Marvel movies and big feature films, but commercials and television advertising and now mobile advertising, like on our phones, it's a huge part of the industry. So maybe talk about your journey through that. And as you said, doing commercials for Cartoon Network.
Yeah. Then in 2005, I went to MTV China in Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved to Beijing and then start there. And then I was at the promo. I was at the creative director as the promo department. So we do a lot of packaging, opening for different shows, and award show. Award show was very popular during that time. So every time we have a theme, we create a theme for the event, and around that theme, we build a lot of images.
Mm.
And of course, by that time, I wasn't just using computer animation. Computer animation was just one of the tools. We do a lot of shooting, live shooting, and then doing a lot of compositing. Yeah,
Right.
not just pure animation. Uh-huh. And then during my time in Beijing, so because I was working at MTV, so I have lots of projects going on.
Mm-hmm.
And in-house artists wasn't enough for doing all this project. So we will start vendoring out the project in the local computer house. So by the time I start to know a lot of local animators from different computer houses. Then luckily, or I would say it was a faith to meet someone in during your life and then become good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were some. I met four of them. I met four very young guy from China, local, and they were self-taught computer animator. By that time, China doesn't have a very well-developed training.
Mm-hmm.
So most of them are graduate from art school, art university, study art, and then they pick up computer animation by themselves. Just almost like the same way I did, but they were doing it by themselves to learn the software by reading this Chinese translated menu. Okay, they're so. I mean, there are a lot of smart people in China, to be honest.
Yeah.
Very smart. And then so they I start to know them and met them, and then one day they was trying they have enough of the company, they want to start their own company. So I said, hey, yeah, let's do it together, I would like to join them. So we co-founded the company, more the computer animation house. Yeah. And then because I have a lot of projects, so I could get them to do the projects and make some good monies, and then to run the company smoothly. And I was part of the founder as well at that time. And then we did a lot of commercials. And then that was 2007. Yeah, after 10 years. Well, during that time, we did a lot of commercials, and at the same time, of course, I have my own career. I was still working as a creative director in companies.
Mm-hmm.
So after 10 years, the company I just said more and become very mature, and then that's the time we were in 2012. The company starting to get into film visual effects.
Right.
Yeah, not just TV levels, but go into the film levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then from then on, the company involved into a lot of local China's movies, mostly locals. Well, yeah, we didn't do any other foreign movie. we were focused on China movies, a lot
Right.
of them. Yeah, so I would like to show our showreel from the company.
Yes, please.
All right, yeah. Let me show you that. Because I always believe that a picture tells a million's words.
Absolutely. And moving pictures tell even more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think viewer are more at, I mean, in these years, people like to see stunning images instead of watching me talking. Let me get it prepared, okay?
Perfect. I think one of the films that a lot of the students might recognize here that your company worked on was, of course, The Wandering Earth from a couple years ago, which is a massive, massive hit around the world, not just in China.
Have you ever seen it?
I have, yeah, beautiful film, amazing film, yeah.
Does it show?
Yep, we're good to go. Thank you. Wow. Incredibly impressive work, Kahing. Just congratulations to your whole team there. That's just really beautiful, accomplished work. And what's amazing to me is a lot of people will focus on Western movies and Hollywood, and but the level of visual effects and animation and modeling and rigging and compositing and lighting that's going on around the world is really impressive. Like the global community of our industry, the artistry is just it expands every day. And maybe you can talk a little bit about your team, about the artists that work at More and the accomplishments that they've been able to achieve here in the last few years.
Sure. I think one of the very core value in the company is passion. It's passion. It really is a passion. It is all about passions. These young people, these young men, they are like 20s, early 20s, start from early 20s, and then take their times to go all through these difficulties in China. It's all about passions. They believe that they would do something, catch up with Hollywood level one day. And of course, this movie gives us a chance to make the dream come true, because that was a first ever sci-fi movie in China, and which was a very good one. I mean, story-wise, the novel was actually very famous internationally.
Yeah.
And then I mean the author of the story was very important. He was a winner of what's the name of that sci-fi award?
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but anyway, he was famous, and then there was a chance to have such a movie, and then it wasn't come to our company at the beginning, at the production team start preparing for the movie. It wasn't come to our company. We picked that up. We picked that up from the from the first choice.
Right.
You know, the first choice has quit after I think 2 or 3 years of productions.
Wow.
So they quit, and then the production team has to find another company to take over the mess. So our company become the mess cleaner, and then actually we did a really good job on that. Not only just clean up the mess, but created stunning images, which become part of the history. I mean, very important one, China sci-fi movie. Yeah, it's all about passions. The team was together with all kind of artists. I was saying, because at the beginning I was saying that I was an artist. I was a traditional artist. I used the computer animation as a tool to satisfy my creativities. Actually, there are actually more people that are not from don't have any art background. You don't need to be as an art background. A lot of them, they use programming to do animations, which amazing. I mean, there's totally different kind of mind to create images. So I mean the computer world is so open now. It gives you that a big scope of possibilities to create animation by different people, not only just artistic people. Well, if you have an artistic background like me, you could be you could be part of the pre-production, right? To visualize the image before the production. But when it get into the production part, you could be a very technical person. You don't even need a artistic background.
Yeah.
You can use programming to do all this big crowd or a lot of images of trees growing and a special effect and things like that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
do you agree with that? Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like some of the best artists I know aren't considered traditional artists. They couldn't draw very well, but they can see the images. They are inspired by music and dance and color and light, and then they use the computer and however they approach that to be able to create these beautiful images. And then certainly on something like The Wandering Earth or these big movies, it takes hundreds of people sometimes for a single shot to come together, and that to me is the beauty, is everyone using their artistry in like a harmonious way, which is, like you said, passions. If everyone is passionate about it, everyone will bring their best artistic background to it, whether it's traditional painting or photography or computer science or whatever it might be. It takes everybody, which is amazing. How many people do you have at More VFX now? Like, how big is the company?
We have 300 persons.
Wow. Yeah, that's
split
pretty
into Beijing studio and Chengdu studio. Yeah.
right.
So we have a smaller studio in Chengdu built up, started already.
Oh, wonderful. That's amazing.
Yeah. But actually in China, I tell you what, it's like factory studio are so popular.
Yeah.
I have visited a game studio, a game company, and that was like a huge factory all the way down the hall, and computers is like a huge factory making with all these production lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so popular. 300 person. 300 capacity is kind of small.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
A small company, actually, you know.
in the scope of it, yeah. But like you said, maybe that's the culture of your company, is to find less people, but the most passionate people to come and work
Right.
together. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next question, which is more education, which seems like a new part of the company and part of your new passion, which is training people in that culture and in that mindset, and bringing different artists from around Asia to come in and learn from your company. So maybe talk a little bit about your expansion into the education realm and what it means for the growth and the future of your company.
Mhm. Well, I think if there is a difficulties on recruitment, as a company like us, we cannot take all these amateur persons
Hmm.
because we are kind of small. So we rather take some experienced artists come in, and then they could start working. You know,
Yeah.
roll out the machine. We
Yeah.
don't have much time to train them in the production line. You see what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
So, and in China, there are a lot of training school now in China, and they are focused on employment training. What I
Right.
mean employment training is um, they separate into different specialized part. They could specialize in modeling. They specialize in special effect. They specialize in compositing, which means they don't. For the compositor, they don't need to know to make how to make model.
Right.
So it's not a whole line of 3D animation. It's not like VFS. VFS, which I really appreciate that in VFS you have a whole full education. I mean,
Right.
training courses from the beginning to the end. So that very person can make animation by himself
Yep.
after the VFS training.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's in China. There's different because I think people would rather their intention to go into the computer animation training. There are two parts. Okay, one of them, I mean, very minor, very small group of people might have a passion and intention to know animation, to know it throughoutly. But most of them would like to find a job.
Yeah.
So it's called employment training. So
Yes.
it's more easy. Like take 3 months, you can get into this certain software, and then you can get on production line, and then you can start the rolling with the team. That's what employers want.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right? They
Yeah.
find a job. Yeah, and these people appreciate that, and then
Mhm.
of course some of them. So a lot of them, they find a job at a computer house, and then they go in there, maybe take half a year. They couldn't, they don't have the passion, you know. They just want to work, and they just want to being employed, and then get a salary and have a life. But then they realize that no, I don't have a life in
Right.
the computer industry. You have to sit there, and you have to spend lots of time sitting there in front of the computer and doing boring rotoscoping and kind of thing, you know. But that's part of the production. Yeah, that's part of
Yep.
the production. That's why if you have no passion and don't have the intention to get into the industry and know more about it, that will be really hard, and it takes you maybe just half a year. You will quit that and then find
Yep.
another job. Yeah,
Mhm.
but those people, well, I'm sorry about that, but it's a good chance for you to know about
Yeah.
this. Yeah, yeah, that's why so from our point of view, we're trying to train people, train some artists from university, which we were focused on picking students from the university may have a better background,
Mm.
someone that who has computer animation, who has passion on computer animation, and some of them maybe has a artistic background. We would rather specializely to pick this student, and then give them training. But of course, in I mean in the training industry, we couldn't provide a education style like VFS because people doesn't have that time
Right.
to spend on that. So 6 months is the top. I mean, 6 months to spend on the training is the top. People would really want to find a job and to get it. I mean, these young people after university, they really want to get a career, just like what I did
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just a normal, I mean, it's a common sense. For those who get out from university, they want to find a job.
Yeah.
If I can't find a job, then I would learn a technique to help myself to find a job, right? Easily. Yeah. So these are the people we are focusing. Yeah, we're trying to help them to get to know into the industry, not just training them to know the software. Of course, that's one of the important part. But as a company behind, because more EDU as a training school, but on the back we have a production team that all the students could see that, okay, they have that intention to go into more the company, the production team. They will come into EDU to learn, and then we will help them to get to know what they are going to face in the future. So they have that, so make sure that they know about how it works in the industry. May not be the same as what they thought.
Right. When
It's
they
gonna
can
be
see
hard.
it right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they couldn't take that reality, they should quit during the training.
Right.
So our training was intensive as well. Just imagine 6 months.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you learn the software, and then you have to good enough to pass. Yeah. And then you have to very good to get into our company. Otherwise, you go to other company.
You take the best of the best. That's right. You've been
Yeah,
the best. Now we're gonna take the best of the best.
exactly. So yeah, when we come to this point, I want to show our student work here.
Yes, please. I'm excited to see this. This is going to be amazing.
Yep, a history of success, a future of promise.
Nice. Love that. That's amazing. Beautiful, beautiful work. Are the students working together in teams, or are they doing their own individual parts of the process?
They're doing the individual work.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So are they given direction? Are they working are they working with other professionals from your company? Do they come and give workshops and interact with the students?
Yeah, the teacher are from our production team. Because like for the one I show you, the special effect team, have I closed the window yet?
Yes, yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
Okay. So he had 10 years of experience in production, and he already attended participate in most of our movies.
Right.
And then after 10 years in the production team, he is very tired. And well, I wouldn't say he's tired, but he has a family, and then he wants to have more time with the family.
Yep.
So he, by chance, we have this EDU set up. He switched over and then become our teachers. So he has a lot of experience, on-hand experience, and he loves to teach people to young people to come up and get into join the passion team, so teachers also are very passionate of teaching these young people. Yeah, that's one of the best things we have. Because
Amazing.
our teachers, they are not here just for the money.
Right.
They're here for the factory, for the future of the factory.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's something that I really appreciate them as well.
Yeah, of course, of course. Amazing stuff. Wonderful. Well, we've got a couple questions that are popping up now, and I'm going to start to get to them. I'm just going to get to there's a couple questions that have come in from Weibo. One of them was, I'm really good at the computer, but I'm poor in my drawing skills. Can I study 3D and visual effects? I think we kind of answered that. I think the answer, we both agree that yes, you don't need to be a traditional artist in order to do that. But maybe you can expand a little bit of that more, Kahing, about if you don't have any drawing background, is there a sort of a procedure for artists to maybe start with computer, or should they be also looking into photography, or maybe looking at other art forms as well to complement their computer work?
Well, I think the first things I have to ask is like, do you have a passion on uh, on special effect movies? Like you watch it every summer or every now and then there one of these Marvel movies. Do you fascinate with this movie? Do you move by that movie? Or when you see 流浪地球, The Wandering Earth, do you feel the hit inside yourself to make you want to really get into the industry? If you have that feeling, if you have that passion, if you have that 心动时刻, that's the time, that's the thing that you need. That's all you need to get into the training.
Absolutely.
No matter do you have, or no matter on, do you have a training background, I mean, drawing background or artistic background or computer background, the motivation is your passion.
Yeah, absolutely. I
that.
couldn't agree more. I mean, that's being in education now for over 10 years, the most successful students are not always the most talented. They're the ones who have that passion and drive within them, and that inner sort of spark that has happened and carries them through. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like same thing apply to game industry. When you play games, I mean, young people play games. Everybody play games now
Yeah.
on their phone. Whenever they standing in the subway or whenever they stop at the light, they start pull out their phone and play the game. So that's the thing. If you are playing the game as a player, okay, you can always be the player. But when you're playing the game, have you ever thought of the creator? How do you create that? I mean, it might be, if I were the creator, I might have a chance to create it. I would do it the other way or do something ideas. That's the thing you need. That's the thing you need to join into the industry.
Absolutely.
Right. I think when you watch the movie, you will amazed with that. But if I was the artist, I would do something like the other way or do something else, something more. Yeah, that's the thing you need. If you have that feeling, if you have that questions, that's the things you need to join the industry.
Right. That curiosity, right? That need for more knowledge is really, that really is it. Yeah. Amazing. I've got, well, actually, there's a question for me. Have I been to China? Yes, I have been to China. I was in Shanghai a few years ago, visiting the opening of Shanghai VFS, which is still there and run the animation program there, run by a good friend of mine, Sean Tilling. And I was supposed to go back to China last year, but obviously the world changed a little bit last year. So I'll be back in China soon enough, I know, once we're allowed to travel again. But another question here from Weibo. Some fans are asking, Kahing, what's your next plan in your career? Like what's next for you, and maybe even your company, but maybe personally, and some of the goals you have artistically?
Mhm. What I'm focusing on is the training center now. Yeah. So the how to run well is a training center, but at the same time it's a business. Well, we have to run the business, so we are thinking all kind of ways how to make it work. Make it work. I mean, it's a good thing that to train up people to give you a future of promise, but at the same time, it's a business. So we are trying to get it rolling,
Yeah,
especially during uh, lockdown period.
yeah, yeah, really
Tough.
tricky.
I mean, for VFS as well, I believe that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very, very tricky. Is we've all had to relearn
Very
everything
tricky.
for the most part.
Yeah, yeah, and another thing is I have because of the lockdown, I have to stay in Hong Kong. I stay with my family because my family always live in Hong Kong.
Mhm.
Before the pandemic, I was flying back and forth, so I have a lot of time to with my childrens and my families, and then I am kind of getting into my drawing again.
Nice.
I pick up my pen, but not my paintbrush yet. I have a little bit pressure to pick up the paintbrush again. So
Yeah.
I'm doing drawings on about my kids, about the growing up of
Oh.
my baby growing up, and then it's about his time of what he fear about, and the monster, the poop poop monster, how he fight with his poop poop monster. Yeah, this it has been my what I'm doing at home. Yeah, and I'm trying to have it published.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Poo Poo Monster. I'd
so
buy a couple copies for sure. Off.
yeah, I hope it will come true one day.
Yeah,
But I don't know
absolutely.
when. It takes time.
Well,
I mean, it's
you've got that passion, right? So you can make it come true. So there you go.
right, right. So
Absolutely.
it's like ideas is everywhere. I mean, in your life, it depends on how you pick that up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And using your tools, your creative tools to make it come true.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Mhm.
absolutely. Well, maybe in sort of during that part of having passion in your own drive, there's a question here in our Q&A, which is, what was the hardest part of your career, and how did you get through that hard part of your career? What were some of the biggest challenges you faced in your career?
Mm. Okay. Politics.
Yes, that's a
Okay.
great answer.
As everybody knows, when you work, okay, you using your talents to work, your technique to work, you sell your time to the company. But there's something that don't forget. There's politics in the company. You
Mhm.
know, and that's the communication. I think that if we don't call it politics, it calls communication between peoples. Yeah,
Right.
to communicate well and smooth and everybody happy with you. That's the trickiest part.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a creative person, as I work as a creative director, I always has fight with salespeople,
Yeah.
sales marketing persons, everybody come to me and I want this, I want that, I want this in time, I want it in right the moment, I want that right now, but it's impossible, it takes times.
Yeah.
As an artist, I need times to prepare, to get hand to work on, right? So to block all this pleasure from my team, that's the hardest part.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So no matter where you go, whatever company, there is something, because in a company there's a teamwork. Um, to work well with the team is one of the very important thing. As well in the computer animation company, I mean in my company, politics also very important.
Mhm.
Teamwork is one of the crucial things. But one thing, that's why I was saying one thing to have my people stick together is the passion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's it's amazing that through the passion and through that drive, you can maneuver through those politics and personalities, and especially when you're working with other creative people. And we can be quite emotional, and so you take your work personal, and it becomes passionate. And yeah, I totally agree. That's a great answer. Especially as you become higher up the chain of command, you have to protect your team and take care of them, and it becomes like a family, and those politics happen as well. So you got to be passionate about people in those situations. Definitely.
Right.
A question here is, the painting that you showed, was that part of the portfolio you used to actually get into Vancouver Film School way back in 1993? What kind of portfolio did you use? Yeah.
Yes. Well, I used the painting was one of the, I think it's the only portfolio I showed to Vancouver Film School.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Beautiful.
Um,
There's another question here, which is there any roles for architects in visual effects in film industry?
Of course, there are a lot of architectural modeling. Well, for the modeling part, you have to be in a very logical sense to make things reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not like for my kind of artistic style is organic form, that you don't need a logical sense to make that. You need to have a crooked mind to create something weird.
Yeah.
But for movies or it really depends on the intention of the movies, right? If it's a realistic movie, then you need to be make sense on the building the models. So technically, technical is very important for modeling team.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and that's like you said, there's so many opportunities for all kinds of different backgrounds and artists in our industry and specializations. And yeah, the more variety you can have in your company, the more ideas you're going to be able to use. So yeah, absolutely. Definitely. There's a nice question here from Kennedy. I wonder if you have any tips or tricks on how to promote yourself in today's artistic world. Is Instagram good, or creating a website? Is there apps? And Kennedy's also loving this talk, by the way. So thank you, Kennedy. And do you use Instagram?
I have an account, but I really don't. Well, to be honest, I don't know how to promote myself. I have a hard time on that too. I wanted to promote myself on Instagram, and yeah, I have an Instagram account. I have some drawings posted there, but I don't have much feedback. I don't know how to spread it out. So I can't give you advice on these questions. Maybe Colin could help you on that.
Yeah, that's definitely, well, certainly when you're running your own visual effects company, the amount of time you would have to spend on Instagram is not much. So I can understand that. And I'm the same. I kind of go through waves. I do use Instagram to promote things like this and what I'm doing with the school. I think ArtStation is great. Having a website, it can be great. I think really anywhere where you can gain an audience, anything where you can be creative. Social media is wonderful. We can connect. Even look at what we're doing now. We're on Zoom. We're talking to Kahing, who's in Hong Kong, and I'm in Vancouver, and there's students from around the world. That's amazing to be able to bring all those people together. So having any sort of social media outreach, I think the best thing to do, if I was to give you advice there, Kennedy, is to engage with other people. So if you see someone online and you like their work, ask them a question, compliment their work, and maybe ask them some interesting questions about what inspires them. Don't just like it, and then that way you'll create a community and a conversation with other passionate artists. So I think promotion is also about being interested in others. It's not just about look at me, because you have to have something interesting to give. And the most interesting people are the people who are interested in others, in my mind. So I've always found the best promotion is to engage with other artists in any way. So rather than just like, put an image up and then sit back and wait for people to find it. Go and share your artistic world with all kinds of people. That's called networking, right? And as you said, Kahing, you had that moment where you met a few friends and it was like fate. And then now you run a successful company, and it was all because you were engaging with other artists and being interested in them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Um,
see the question. There were questions saying, asking me that, do I think going to VFS in 1993 was one of my best decision? Yes, it was. I mean, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of the screen and you are watching me.
right.
Yes, that was the best decision ever. If I didn't take that chance, I really couldn't imagine what would I be.
Right.
It's really couldn't. I mean, but I really happy with what I come to today. I mean, after all these years in the
Yeah.
industry, yeah. Even though of course, I wasn't a big, I mean, I wasn't a big creative director, internationally known person at all. But for this session, I mean, as a alumni of VFS, I'm really happy after all these years. And then I connected with Vancouver Film School again, and knowing Colin, a young person younger than me, and we were but you wasn't at Vancouver Film School, right?
No,
You
I did Emily Carr and I did Capilano College. Well, it's a university now, and yeah, I did most of my I think I started a little bit later. I started around 1998. It was when I started working for Disney Interactive and then Cartoon Network. And yeah, and then similar to you, just finding new ways of being creative. And I find myself, I think we share this in common, is like I find I love drawing, but it takes a long time and I get impatient and I'm almost too ultra creative. So I like to give feedback. I like to show people and lean on other people's expertise. So being in an animation school is wonderful because I get to work on hundreds of different projects every day,
Right.
and educate people. But even through my career, I've worked in computer animation, I've worked in video games and television commercials. I think my favorite thing was television commercials. They were, for my personality, they were short, they were little mini films. We could be experimental. There was no pressure to like, fill out a whole movie. We didn't need to worry about box office return. We just made the commercial and then it went on to the next one. So I think, my career and looking at your career, we've both been in it now for a couple of decades, if not more. The adaptation and the change and the rhythm of your artistic journey and your passions is amazing. But I think the thing that's always stayed there is I love moving images, as you mentioned at the beginning. There's something magical about putting 24 images together in 1 second and seeing it come alive, whether it's through pixels, whether it's through stop motion or drawing. Film combines music and dance and color and sculpture and painting. It combines all the art forms, right? So my passion is storytelling. That's really what we're, and of course here at Vancouver Film School, that's what we're all about, right? So yeah, I think it's funny to look back at that and think that at the time I just wanted to draw, but now the ideas are too big for just a drawing. So
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Well,
um,
one thing I want to ask, how the student at Vancouver Film School, what kind of career they get into when they graduate?
Yeah, well, we have multiple animation programs here now. Of course, we have our 3D animation visual effects program, we have concept art program, and we have classical animation still. So our students go on to as you mentioned it at one point there, and this is very much why I love being at Vancouver Film School, is the complete education that you get. It's not just training in a software. It's educating problem solving and passions and finding your artistic voice in amongst this huge industry. So yes, they might go and work on a Marvel movie as a rotoscope artist for their first job. But I think, like you said, there's that passion inside of them to be a storyteller and to be a contributor. So, as the years have come out, we see more and more alumni like yourself who are entrepreneurial, who are creative directors, are people like Lino DeSalvo who are writers and directors and producers of movies and television shows and creating their own shows, or people getting into illustration and graphic novels and creating their own companies to provide multiple solutions across our new media. And that's exciting. I think the traditional journey of our students is to start out in an entry level position and like you said, getting that job. but also being inspired that there's more than just that job. You know, there's a lot more out there, and I think that's important to me to really introduce our students to, and yeah, and even maybe one day providing students for more EDU. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because yeah, I think today's scope of career is wider than before a lot.
Yeah.
Because the use of online communications, online video sharing apps and kind of things, you need people has more possibility to make animation, to use that technique to create a visual to put online. Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, now our industry has changed in the past, you know, year during COVID, because it's so much more difficult to film live action films. So they've got to make the right decisions to do that. Now it takes a lot longer, it takes a lot more money, and it's going to be like that for the next few years. Even with vaccinations and stuff, it's just going to take a long time for it to catch up again. So visual effects, and you know, is a great way to, if you can't have 100 people on set anymore in your scene, you can have 8, and we'll just produce the rest in the computer. and animation and design, all those things are growing exponentially. So it's actually an amazing time for our industry.
Right. Virtual production is getting very popular. I mean, in the States, of course, in China as well.
Yeah.
To be honest, for virtual production, our company also working on virtual production. There was a latest movie that's going to show in 2 weeks' time during the Chinese New Year, first day of Chinese New Year. And that's the movie we use virtual production for to have it executed.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, we are also moving in that direction as well here at the school, because that is just another tool to add to the toolbox, right? And now has become a great solution to the way we have to film now. And I think everyone will be aware of that in the future. There's no reason to have 400 extras in a space anymore, because it's dangerous in some ways and not unhealthy and expensive. So we can do it with more control in an LED screen or virtual cameras. And that's amazing that you are moving into that space as well. I think that is a big part of our future for sure.
Yeah, true.
So Andre asked, what age can you join more EDU? Is there a minimum age, or do you only accept students out of college or university?
No, not only. Most of my students are from university graduate, and some of them were actually they just graduated from high school, but which they decided they decided to go into the in the industry, so they can join as long as their parents allow. And paying the fees.
Right, absolutely. As long as they can come. Yeah, exactly. We have an interesting, maybe a tricky question here for Valerie. She says, do you have any regrets? I don't like to think about regrets, but is there something you could have done, or is there something, like I said, maybe that you would like to now accomplish moving forward, rather than looking at it as a regret, but maybe some opportunities that that could be out there for you and your company?
I couldn't. Yeah, I think we all shouldn't use the word regret for anything in your life.
It's all learning lessons, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you come to that point, there must be a reason, and there's all kind of possibilities, and then you choose that, and then no matter it's good or bad, but it's still your own choice. There's no regret on anything. Yeah. But there was one point that after I create my MV, the techno MV, and then I showed it to everywhere, and then there was a company in the state, in LA. What's the name of it? I forgot. And then, well, actually, they want to hire me, but I didn't go. I didn't go because to me it's quite I didn't make the decision to go there. I would say if I took that opportunity and go to LA to the company, I don't know what happened. It might have me stayed in the state on the VFX industry. It might have a different life, but it's still on the same track. I mean, same scope of career, but in different areas. Yeah, you never know. But
Absolutely. It's an amazing thing, right? Just to think that those, like you said, meeting those people at that time, making that video at the time, it shifted your career in an amazing way. And it's destiny or fate or just your passions were leading you in that direction. And it was maybe inevitable that you would be in this position right now, which is an exciting thing to do as well. So yeah, I agree. I don't like to use the word regret. We can learn lessons from any mistakes we make and accept the successes that we can gain from happenstance as well.
Yeah.
So there's a question here from Fu Shuang, and actually there's been a couple here. Maybe just talk about your recruitment process. Is there, I think some people are asking, how do I get a job at More FX? And what is your recruitment process like? Do you hire from many places around the world, or are you focused on the mainland China market?
No, we hire anyone from over the world. We have artists from different places, from international, but they work very short time. They didn't work for a long time.
Right.
Maybe they will just want to have experience in China, so somehow they got into our company and when worked there for a few months.
Yeah.
For less than a year, most of them. Yeah. So the recruitment is like you go online and then and find our recruitment form and then send us your work. Well, a picture tells a million's work.
Yeah.
Million's work, right? You don't need to write anything. Just show us your work. If you're good enough, then we will contact you.
Excellent.
Definitely.
That's how it works. Absolutely.
We're working in the visual industry,
Right. Yep. It's all about that. It's about having your passion and about having the talent and skill to be able to make beautiful images. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Kahing, it's been an amazing chat with you. I think that's all the questions we've had, and we're here. We've been talking for an hour and a half, and it's flown by. I feel like hasn't been that much time. So, first of all, I want to just congratulate you on your success to this point in your career. I know you're only halfway through. You've got a lot of runway ahead of you, a lot of successes to come, a lot of challenges that are coming, of course, because of our current situation. But it looks like you guys over there at More Visual Effects are doing amazing work. Congratulations on the school. I think that's amazing. Obviously, that's close to my heart. And certainly look forward to Vancouver Film School and More Visual Effects having a beautiful relationship moving forward. And of course, from everyone here at Vancouver Film School, we love hearing from our alumni as they travel around the world and do amazing things around the world. And of course, thank you to everyone who showed up tonight and joined us. We had almost 500 people combined between VFS and all our friends using Weibo. So thank you so much. And maybe the last word can go to you, Kahing. Maybe a last word of advice and some final thoughts from you.
All right. Well, I would say thank you for the invitation. It was a very good time for me during this pandemic, staying at home. And I can reach out to connect it to the world, and a lot of people seeing us is amazing. Another thing is, like, I would say the market, the industry market is huge. For those who are already studying in computer animation, I wish you guys to get a good job good career in the industry. And also during all this year, I also appreciate what I have done in China, because originally I'm from Hong Kong, so I was a traveler in China, and then in that place, I get to know all these people. I'm appreciate for this passionate animator, and then we co-work, and then we co-found a company, and then let more passionate people come in. So during that time, of course, it's all come in right timing. The company started and grow up during this boom in special effect in China industry. Yeah, that's one of the very important thing. So I would say I think there will be getting more and more development in China VFX industry. So do come back. For those who work who study in Vancouver Film School, after you graduate, do come back to China. There is a space and your dream to make your dream come true in China.
Absolutely. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I also look forward to visiting you in China in the future when we are allowed to move around the world again freely, which I know is coming. Like I said, I was supposed to be in China last year and look forward to probably coming next year. You know, again, all the best to you, all of safety and wellness to all our friends here watching from around the world, and all our friends watching over Weibo in China. And of course to you, Kahing, and your family, all the best. And thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been a real pleasure and an inspiration.
Thank you very much. And hope to meet you in person some days in Vancouver.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.